Welcome everyone to the Two Real podcast. It's going to be the episode 1. Basically what this podcast is going to be about is it's going to be a solopreneur sort of podcast. Possibly guests in the future, but it's going to be myself for now, and what it's going to be about is sort of exposing the world for how it is. Staying real, keeping real, that's why it's called Too Real, because it's going to be too real. I'm going to only be talking about facts and things I believe in, and it's not going to be PR trained, I'll tell you that. I'm going to be speaking my mind, I'm going to be going against certain things, I'm going to be having my own personal beliefs for things, and I'm just going to express them to you lot. I'm going to go into conspiracies, I'm going to be going to how to improve your life, how to become a better person, just sort of those topics in general, man. Just trying to help you lot out and give you advice to completely change and U-turn your life. That's what I want this pod to be about, you know. But yeah, let's kick it off. Who am I? Right, my name is Ryan Farley for the full name, first name, second name. I'm 18, I'm a solopreneur working towards, wanting to be successful in his life, wanting to be a millionaire, wanting to live for a living and travel the world and create content, for the people who are watching this right now. That's what sort of things I want to do for me and for my life, and that's why I'm working towards it now. So yeah, that's sort of who I am. I enjoy sport as well, a bit of football, a bit of, little things on the side as well, but mostly what I enjoy is working towards things in my life, improving my life, gym, running 5Ks, doing things that improve my life and they better me as a person and they better how I am to people around me. They completely benefit my social skills and how I can speak to people and respect people and just how I can give advice. So yeah, it's what this pod's going to sort of be about, what I'm about. Okay. Well, I basically already said that. It's going to be about keeping it real. I'm going to give real beliefs, real opinions towards things, conspiracies, and just real shit in fucking real talk, man. Real fucking talk. I don't care if it sounds... I've got to be careful about YouTube guidelines and violations, but it's going to be... not going to be PR trained, I'll tell you that. It's just going to be about speaking how I want to speak and giving you boys the advice. Right, I'm going to start off about how my life has been so far and how I've sort of become this mentally strong, stoic person. So I started, as a usual kid, just coming up in the ranks, as you could say, primary, secondary, etc. But all was good. I had a pretty basic childhood, from a working class family. Just very basic, very chill and comfortable and the lot. So yeah. That was all good apart from secondary. For me, secondary was what changed my life. It opened my eyes up, and the way in which I can describe that is I was picked on a lot in secondary. The way I looked, the way I spoke, or just beliefs, etc., and the way I acted. I was weird. I was trying to constantly fit in, and I was an emotional wreck. I wasn't a stoic being whatsoever. I would literally be called ugly in school. I'd burst out in tears. I'd constantly go home and scream to my mum and put all the pressure on. I was like, I want to kill myself. Saying all these things, man. It's just, when I think about it, it's completely wrong and disrespectful to offload and say such things, especially around my parents who have raised me and they've tried to do everything they can for me. But you know what? Moving on from that, there's a reason why I am who I am today. I moved on from that, but yeah, I was picked on a lot. Picked on for the way I look, etc. I didn't enjoy my childhood whatsoever. In terms of school life, not in terms of the childhood in general, but yeah, how I've been affected from that. I then went on to college. I then ended up studying criminology and forensic science for a year. Didn't particularly enjoy that. Knew I wanted to, explore other options, including social media and being able to earn money online, etc., and live for a living. So yeah, after the first year, I quit college. Before I went into the second year, I picked up a part-time job actually working at McDonald's. I still currently work there part-time because obviously I need to be bringing in extra income whilst I'm doing this. But yeah, I'm running up my 9 to 5, running up a bit of cash, trying to save up as much as possible. I want to travel the world. I want to live for a living. I want to earn money by giving knowledgeable insights and opinions and beliefs to you lot. And I hope I can give that to you. I hope I can give the advice to change your life and encourage you and push you to do things that you've never done before. But that's what I wish to do. I wish to live for a living. I want to be in Thailand, travelling around Bangkok, Bali, all these beautiful places in the world, in traditional places, just travelling and recording content for you lot, being entertaining, giving advice and just living for a living. I don't want to be tied for a 9 to 5. I've always been that guy who believes he doesn't want to be in a 9 to 5. I want to be free. I want to have a free life. I just want to have a life of freedom. I've always come to reasoning that what I wanted is to improve as much as a man. For me, a lot it was about physique, etc. and other things, but it became very hostile and cocky, and I lost the real reason to why I was doing things, about a year ago. I believed I was doing all this just for women and just for that sort of side, and I sort of lost myself, and I've come back to myself in the last 6, 7, 8 months, and the main reason to why I want to do what I want to do is for freedom, and it's to help people and to give people advice and to help them change their lives, to get them on a similar path. That means just recording and getting out there, getting yourself out there. But for me, the most important thing is just living for a living, man, and living in the moment, getting out there and getting as much things done and doing as many things and helping as many people before it's too late, before it comes 40, 50, 60 years from now and I'm sitting there in my deathbed reminiscing about the fact that I did fuck all. That thought to me, it scares me. There was one day I'm going to be sitting there in that deathbed. I'm going to have a minute left to live. That last breath is going to come and I'm going to die. And everything that happened in my life is going to sum up whether or not was it worthwhile. Did I say who I said I was going to become? And that thought I love to give people on a regular basis because it does scare you. It doesn't no longer scare me because I understand what I've got to do and I understand what I am doing now and where I'm going to be and what I want for my life. I mean, you can't help if you just have a heart attack or you just get killed. You can't help that, but what you can do is you can do the best you can in the moment to work towards a good life. So that's what I'm doing for myself right now. But yeah, that's me, man. I'm currently working, I'm making videos. This is what you're going to see now after this first episode. This is where I'm getting consistent. I've been in a bit of a rut, but I haven't been in a traditional rut where I've constantly been procrastinating and breaking into my bad habits, but it's been a rut where I've been stuck to the point where there has been a lack of self-belief in myself and my ability to be successful. And no matter how I speak, no matter how I look on camera, I know things are going to improve over time with me doing it consistently. No matter how this pod looks now, no matter where we are, I know it's going to improve for you lot. And if you want to stick around, if you want to listen to it, if you want to take my advice, I appreciate that a lot. You don't have to. This might not be the channel for you, but yeah, I want to help people, man. I want to better my own life, and for me, it's my age. My age is important. I'm 18 years of age, and I've already realised what I want for my life and how I want it to go and how successful I want to be and how much money I want to earn and how many people I want to help. And I know I'm on a really good track. I've fully picked up a really good track in the last couple of months, eating 100% clean, training hard. I'm about to actually start doing a bit of runs. I'm in decent shape, maybe not the biggest of guys yet, but I know I will be. But I want to run in terms of that mental side and mindset side, in terms of just training myself up, man. I want to get into boxing as well and fighting, or maybe MMA. We'll see. I would like to just do more than punch, but we'll see about that. But yeah, I just want to improve everything as a man and my capabilities and improve as much things as possible before it's too late. But yeah, for me, the most important thing is to live for a living and to improve my character as a person, as a man, as a traditional man in general with traditional values, but just to build myself up to eventually, be able to obtain a beautiful family and to look after people and to retire, my family. That's the most important thing for me on this journey of life, is to get the most out of it before it's too late. And I say that to whoever I see, anyone I see, mostly to people who are in a position where they're going the opposite way. There are too many people endlessly scrolling, smoking, vaping, drinking, etc., man. and it's taking people the wrong way. People are getting so-called mental health. I'm not a big believer in the word in general. I think it's a big psyop, and it's a big excuse people like to give to why they're not getting the fuck up and they're not doing things in their life. But that's for another topic. I have a video coming out on mental health as a conspiracy. Yeah, man. I've always been that sort of anxious guy. I've always been a weak, scrawny, anxious guy who doesn't really know what he wanted to do with his life or where he wants to go, especially from a young age. I think we all are. We're all skinny, we're all anxious, but particularly a year or two back in the past, I was a very anxious guy. I couldn't even speak to people. Like, I would get out of bed, like, how do I even explain it? Like, I would walk to the train station for college, and I would just walk in there, and I'm getting anxious. I'm looking around. I can't help myself. I'm just so anxious, and it got to a point where it was just containing me. And I'd get to college, and I'd be in class sitting there. I'm just like looking around, like, what the fuck's going on, man? Like, I would shit myself, and it got to a point where I realised how my whole life needed to change. And changing things in my life, I've completely got rid of that anxiousness, and that's why I know from a believer and from someone who's experienced certain things in their life that it is all a big psyop. It is, because I had anxiety, I had so-called depression saying I wanted to kill myself from consistent bullying. I had that sort of mental health from the fact that all the experience I went through, but then one day it all cut off and it all disappeared completely out of existence to me, because I realised the only way to do that is to move on and to understand that I was using it as an excuse. It's all an excuse. It's all an excuse from the real problem, which is yourself and things in your life that you know you need to change. That's what I found out for myself, and that's what a lot of you will find out for yourself if you decide to change things and implement some of the advice that I give you. But yeah, first bit of advice I'd like to give today is about health and fitness, going on from the running side of it. I wanted to start running. I wanted to start making videos from running. I go to bed nice and early. I have a very strict routine. I'd give advice that you would do that as well. That completely change your life, getting good sleep, etc. But for me, waking up in the morning, I would like to start doing 5Ks most mornings, 3, 4, 5 times a week, doing motivational videos like I'm doing now and that I have done on my TikTok. If you want to go check it out, Ryan Farley on all platforms. But yeah, I want to start making videos from running and sitting in fields, making these podcast videos, etc., and getting out there. That's the only thing I would say, and I would actually want to talk about in terms of entrepreneurship and in terms of life, is that when you're working towards goals and you have goals set in mind and you're on a solo journey of working towards them, and you realise that there's not really a lot of people doing these similar things to you, you realise you're all alone in this journey, and it can be a lot for a lot of people. It can be overwhelming. For me, it hasn't really been, but it doesn't mean I can't feel those feelings of loneliness and those feelings of being alone just because I'm mentally strong. I'm lonely, but I'm not lonely in the sense of I've got nothing going on for me. I'm lonely in the sense of I don't have those mutual connections. I don't have a lot of people who, if not, I don't have anyone really who is like-minded, or that may be like-minded, but they're just not as far as me on the journey, because they're still willing to sit there and fucking fap. They're still willing to sit there and break all the bad habits they said they would never break again. And I'm at a stage now where it's not just like I'm so set on the good habits and I'm not doing the bad habits, but I want to do even more. So it's so hard to find people who are at such a high level and at such high stoicism in this journey. But yeah, it's lonely, man. It's fucking lonely, and that's why I wanted to make content. I wanted to help people. I wanted to get in touch and actually, start, speaking to more people who want to change their life and be like-minded, etc. But yeah, it's a lonely path. Anyone who's willing to take, the thing of entrepreneurship and being a solopreneur and getting out there creating content, you need to be willing to experience that loneliness and deal with it. I'll be honest with you, it's probably the hardest things, or one of the hardest, things that comes, with this journey. It's having to deal with it, and it's having to deal with being lonely. but if you understand the importance of learning to be by yourself and learning to better yourself in consolidation, you will soon get used to it. To be honest, that's the sort of word I was looking for there. You'll get used to that loneliness factor because you'll be so set on what you're focusing on and the discipline and everything that you won't focus on the loneliness. You'll focus on what's important, and that's the most important thing. It's the journey that you're working towards, you know. Let's speak about journeys for a moment. The journey, you know. The journey is the most important thing when it comes to anything in terms of when you're working towards anything. People always want that instant result. They want it now. But unfortunately, that's not how life goes. It's about the journey. It's what you witness. It's about what you experience in the now, which will also build what comes later, or if you deserve that success or not. And that's what I also want to lead on to from journey is actually discipline. Most people, they believe they should have something, but they haven't put in any work to obviously obtain it. And that's what leads into me as a person myself. Over the last 2 years, particularly 7-8 months ago, I was at a point where I'm sitting there thinking, I want to be a solopreneur, I want to travel the world, I want to live for a living, but I'm not actually really doing anything to get there. I might be sleeping well, I might be going to the gym, but there's nothing beyond extent that I'm physically doing to becoming a millionaire or financially free, etc. There's not really much I'm doing to be able to get there. And when I think about that, that's when you got to realise it's the output that you put in. It's the input first and it's the output that you get later. I wasn't putting much input in, so how did I expect to get the output out of it, you know? But yeah, it's the discipline is key, and it's also realising that there's always more to be done. I run a couple theme pages for myself. Ones I built up. I built one up to over 100,000 followers, and now I've decided, you know, there's always more I could be doing. There's always more people I could be helping, and that's why I started this sort of channel, and that's why I'm doing this podcast video now, so you understand my experiences, you understand my mindset lessons. And I'm going to be honest, it's going to be a lot of waffle, it's going to be a lot of tangents, it's going to be a lot of speaking about this subject and randomly going off it. If you want me to make a video on anything in particular I spoke about today, or any ideas you want me to speak about in general and give my opinion on, just let me know, because I'm a bit of a waffler. I do go off topic, off randomly getting caught up on things then I want to say to you lot, and I feel it's important. But yeah, I really hope, you know, you're taking a lot from this podcast from so far. I need to do a lot more planning than I've done today. I'm sort of struggling with the topics, but yeah, tomorrow I would like to start running those 5Ks, getting more content out for you lot and filming. It's going to be a bit difficult though. I've got to figure out how to film when it's pitch black outside, because the mornings have got darker again. I could start running in the evenings, maybe 5, 6, 7, and when it's maybe a bit darker, but it's also got that light out of it. I don't like running middays. I really don't enjoy it, especially when it's at peak heat as well. The worst thing to do is run in the fucking boiling hot. Be sitting there panting out your lungs. It's not the nicest, I'll tell you that. But yeah, I still want to start properly running tomorrow if possible. I've messaged my sister about possibly picking up some running shoes. I need to buy some, but I can't get any right now. They're going to come tomorrow, so I'm messaging her to see if she's got any spare, because she's a good runner herself. But yeah, what have I? Let me check my little list of what I've written down. Childhood experiences and who I am now. Well, I've already spoke a bit about that and just gave you some lessons, but who I am now and what I have become based off of my experiences is a very strong person. I'm a very strong, mentally disciplined, consistent person who is working towards their goals and who is going to achieve their goals. That's who I am now. That's who you have to become, especially if you want to be a mature, masculine man when you're 20, 21, 22. You have to be doing good habits. You have to be strong-minded. There's no room to be weak-minded and hostile and to be a fucking pussy. There's no fucking space for it. Because 5-10 years from now, when you get to that point where you want to be masculine and older, if you're still fucking crying over little things when you're supposed to be a man, I'm sorry, but shit is not going to go your way. It clearly didn't go your way if you're doing that anyway. But yeah, I want to be a mentally masculine man, physically masculine. When I obviously want to get 5 times the size I am now. I want to be a field opponent. I just want to improve my life. I want to travel the world. I want to give out advice. I want to help people, and I feel like I'm a good fit to do that. These pods are gonna improve. The way I speak is gonna improve over time for experience. But what I want to improve is helping people and giving better advice. And I'm gonna do that over time. And we're at 20 minutes right now, and I don't think this has been too bad. Maybe I've got caught up on a couple of my words in terms of presenting to you lot, but I've told you before, I'm a bit of a waffler, you see. I go off topic a lot, but yeah, man. I just hope you can take a lot of this advice in. You can understand who I am and what I sort of want to give and who I want to sort of be, and you'll see that journey over time. Like a year or two from now of me posting like one of these pods every single week. Every week, I know I'm not going to stop on this. I'm going to be consistent, week in, week out. I know a year from now I'm still going to be posting these every week. And if I don't, I'm seriously going to be a fucking pussy, man, because I'm going to backtrack. I'm going to watch this video again one day and I understand, fucking, you didn't stay true to your word. But I'm a man that stays true to my word, so I understand. I'm going to be doing these week in, week out. I understand I'm going to be trying to get more and better content out to you lot, so I can get out there and properly build a fan base and build an audience. But yeah, consistency is key. That's a big thing I can speak about, actually. The art of consistency. I always tell myself this, by the way. If you do something long enough, a year or two from now, 5 fucking months from now, 5 years from now, if you do something consistent enough and you do something for long enough, eventually you're going to get to a point where your life is going to improve, or you're going to reach that certain thing. A big thing about me dropping out of college, actually, I want to speak about is, I'm not saying my parents haven't been supportive at all. They've been understanding of what I'm doing. They would be more understanding if I had the results completely to back it up, but I know that takes time. But they're very traditional. That's why they're very, very traditional. They don't understand this whole making money online shit and traveling the world, etc. They think, the harder you work, the more you earn, sort of thing. Going to college, going to uni, or just fucking getting a job in general. That's all they've ever known. So I do completely understand it, but for me, consistency is key. If you do something for a long enough period of time, 1 year, 5 years, etc., you're gonna get it. It's just the way it is. It's the way it happens, and no matter who says you can't do it, no matter what lack of belief you have around you, you need to push past it. That is probably the hardest thing to do, is to shrug off everyone around you and understand that you only have you in this journey. Of course, it's definitely the hardest thing I've ever dealt with and still dealing with to this day, I would say. Like I brought up before about the loneliness. It's the hardest thing to deal with. It's better to have like-minded people who you can work hard with, you can record stuff with, you can get out there with, because eventually it's gonna be what pushes you through your darkest hours. When you're at your lowest, even if I'm a mentally strong person, I'm still at my lowest sometimes. Not in terms of mental health or sadness or emotion, but in terms of energy depleted. Sometimes I don't fucking feel like waking up, or sometimes I don't feel like sitting in front of a camera, or sometimes I don't feel like going to the gym, but I do it anyway. But having someone there to help push you is what is key, is what is going to be key for a lot of you. So finding like-minded people, I'd say, is one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give. Where to find them, how to find them, when I find that out for myself, I'll fucking tell you, but for now I have no idea. Getting out there in the world is the number one, but finding someone like this, or finding someone who's like-minded, is extremely difficult just to find it on a regular basis. You got to get extremely lucky. How to find them, man? There are ways to find them once you get to a level where you're successful, because you're gonna, if you're out in nice restaurants, you're eating in nice restaurants, traveling the world, you're rich, you're gonna find more rich people being in a rich restaurant. Do you know what I mean? It's easy to find more like-minded people and get involved with that. But when you're at a point where you're grinding towards it, finding like-minded people who have that same sort of mindset of wanting to improve their life and become ambitious, etc., is going to be extremely difficult. And how to find them, I couldn't tell you right now. But yeah, being alone is one of the most important skills to master. 100%, I'm still trying to master it. But all I want to say is you're not alone. You're not alone. Even if you think you are, you're not alone, because at the end of the day, there's always someone out there who's going to care for you. There's always someone who's going to support you, even if you feel like you got no one, even if you feel like you got no family. Eventually you will find someone who's like-minded. Eventually you will find someone to share the wealth and the fortune with, if that means a partner, or if that means obviously a best friend or whoever. Eventually you will find someone who you can share that like-minded thought with. But for now it's going to be difficult, but it's meant to be difficult. You might have heard this before, but if it wasn't difficult, everyone would have it. If it was easy to obtain, everyone would want to obtain it. But there's a reason to why it's so difficult to become successful. There's a reason why it's so difficult to become mentally strong and to push your mind through things. There's a reason for it, because at the other end there's a rainbow, man. There's that pot of gold, because you will feel so much better. You will get that happiness. You will get that success. That's what all the fortune's for. It's not just fortune of money and wealth. It's fortune of health and mental state of all of what you are doing. If you're doing runs, if you're going to the gym, if you're eating well, you're going to improve your health. If you're working towards ambitious goals, you're sitting there, you're working hard, you're being consistent, you're filming, or you're doing theme pages, or you're trying to scale and build businesses, eventually you're going to get fucking money out of it. Do you know what I mean? If you're sitting there doing mindfulness and mindset and breathing exercises, eventually you're going to feel less anxious. But at the end of the day, people don't try, they don't stay disciplined, they don't be consistent, they don't believe that they can get the output from the input for some reason. It's just like people with anxiety, they always sit there and say, oh fucking hell, I've got really bad anxiety. But are you doing breathing exercises? Are you doing mindfulness? Are you stopping scrolling social media? Are you cutting out everything that negatively impacts your brain? And that's what it comes to. That's what it truly comes to, man. What are you doing in your life to improve that? If you've got depression and you're sad because your life is shit and you're ugly and you're fat, why aren't you going out there and trying to lose weight? Why aren't you going out there and trying to look smacks and improve yourself over time? I know it's going to take time. I'm not even saying I'm the most attractive guy by any means, but where I was 2 years ago is a big improvement. But 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, from gym, from eating how I eat, from running, doing all these things, I'm going to look 10 times better than I do now. I'm only 18, there's still more growth to be done, there's still more room for improvement in terms of masculinity. But yeah, that's the thing, man. People don't believe they can get the output from the input. Or it's not even that they don't believe it, it's like it's not even there. It's like people who have anxiety, they get caught up in the fact they've got anxiety, and they believe that's the end. That's the end of. I've got anxiety, I've got depression, I've got bad mental health, I'm sad. They just give the answer, but they don't give the reasoning. Or if they give the reasoning, they don't fucking then do something about it. They don't fucking try, and that's where it gets to a point like, what the fuck? People are so fucking lazy. Like, what is going on with the world, man? And a good example, I love my sister, man. One of the closest people to me. I don't see her often. She lives with her boyfriend, but she's got quite bad anxiety, and I would love to really help her and get her out there to do this and to do that. And she probably is really trying, and maybe for some it is difficult, but for me, I just don't want to be too harsh with it. But there are ways to really change it. There are really ways to change it, man. Just of simple things and changing your life. And the number one thing I'd tell people to get rid of is scrolling. Just get rid of scrolling. You might think it's easy and you might think it satisfies you short term, but if you quit fucking scrolling social media, the way your brain is, your attention span, your confidence, that anxiousness, it will completely go. Get good sleep. I'll tell you right now, when I have a shit sleep and I had a shit sleep routine, I'd wake up and I'd feel so fucking nervous. But I don't know why. I'd go to my 9 to 5 and just be so aware and nervous around me. But I'm not even a nervous person. But I'd just be nervous from shit sleep. It would completely change it. That's another thing. Also, obviously, purpose. Purpose is the number one thing, 100%. Because if you're not doing anything in your life, you're not working towards anything, you're just going to feel that you're going to feel anxious. You've got nothing going on. You're going to feel anxiety. You're going to feel depressed because you've got nothing going on in your life. You're going to be sad about that. But for me, it's not even the fact that I'm not a believer about these things. It's that I'm a big believer in the fact that they are easily changeable if you're willing to. So most people, it's either they shy away from the fact that it's changeable, or they just don't want to see it. I mean, that's the fucking same sort of answer, but or they just choose not to see it. They don't want to see it, and it's so weird. And it is what it is. There's nothing I can do, but what I can do is, there's someone out there who feels like they've got anxiety, or they're an anxious person, they listen to this. What I can do is I can guide them to change things in their life first, to see if that helps. If it doesn't help, by any means, if you feel like there's anything else you need to do, go and get help, etc. More extra help, go and do that. That's fine. But for me, I'd say there's basic things in your life you can change to get rid of that. Same with depression, etc., mental health. But yeah, I'm a first-hand experiencer with that, because I feel like I've had anxiety before, maybe not deep levels, but I've been a very anxious person. I've had very bad depression, even if I was a younger guy, because I've been through a lot of shit. Even if there's people who've been through a lot more shit, I know I've been through a lot of shit to an extent where it's fucked up my mental health. But I've been able to U-turn that because of the fact I decided just to change small things in my life. Decided to go to the gym, I decided to eat clean, I decided to film content, I decided to just do mindset, mindfulness, and all these other things. All these things just changed the fact that I didn't fucking have these bad things anymore. It just all disappeared. So yeah, just try and change things in your life first before, you blame it on something that it isn't. And yeah, you'll see change. And I'm going to use this last point to wrap up, the final is first episode. I think it's been quite good. There are a lot of things I'm still going to improve on. I'm still going to get better content out for you lot. I mean, it's going to be your first video on this account, it might even be, but yeah, it's been a good one. I've hopefully given some good advice. Probably rambled and waffled a lot and yapped, but hopefully I've helped a lot of you. So yeah, fucking enjoy the rest of your days. This has been Too Real. And yeah, fucking go out there, smash it, and implement everything I've gave and all the advice I've gave today, even if it is just little things. But yeah, get out there, man, and I'll see you in episode 2. Peace.